Fire is an elemental force, both fierce and transformative. But it isn't just a source of heat. It's a sacred symbol that embodies the spiritual truths and ancient rituals. Agni, the god of fire in the Vedas, is viewed as the firstborn of creation, the life-giving energy, the symbol of consumption, transformation, and conveyance. In today's episode, Sonia from the Cleveland Museum of Art and Shraddha from the MAP team take a closer look at Agni in both his figural and non-figural forms. Welcome back to another episode of Museums Without Borders.
This folio, titled Rama performing an Ashwamedha Yagna from MAP's collection, is part of a now dispersed Bhagvata Purana manuscript. The illustration, executed in Jaipur, captures a scene from the 11th chapter of the 9th canto in the Bhagvata Purana, where Rama, the king of Ayodhya, performs the Ashwamedha Yagna, a ritual in which a horse is sacrificed to affirm the king's authority. Sita is seated in a pavilion behind Rama, holding a long yellow and red thread, while male priests, led by sages Vishwamitra and Vashisht, gather around the sacrificial fire. In the lower right, a white horse and 6 multicolored goats are prepared for sacrifice, with 11 golden poles nearby. The animals are tethered to 2 poles, suggesting that the others have already been sacrificed. In the background, Rama, in disguise, eavesdrops on the couple's conversation, where a man accuses his wife of suspicious behavior, echoing the tensions between Rama and Sita. The sky's contrasting colors, dawn or dusk on the left and dark and gloomy on the right, symbolize the yagna's role in heralding new beginnings and happiness for the kingdom.
In this sculptural composition made about a millennium before the painting, Agni is also in the center, but in his human form, he dwarfs the figures around him. The work was probably made for a temple in northern India, and traces of vermilion indicate that the sculpture was once an object of worship. This work came to the Cleveland Museum of Art in 1955 from the estate of Sir Eric Geddes, a civil servant and military commander of Scottish descent who was born in British India. He lived from 1875 until 1937. In 1991, Penguin Classics featured this sculpture on the cover of their edition of the Laws of Manu, a foundational text of Hindu ethics and philosophy. Agni has the beard and the matted locks of a Brahmin priest, but as a god, the locks are piled up on his head like a crown and fastened with a diadem. He wears a dhoti and the 2 sacred threads of the ritually highborn, one in the form of a cloth strap and the other as a bejeweled garland. In his lower left hand, he carries the pot full of purified water, just like any Brahmin who is on the go.
Contrary to the sculpture in the Cleveland Museum's collection, in this painting, Agni is depicted as the personification of the sacrificial fire, acting as the mediator between Rama and the gods by carrying the sacrificial offerings. Alongside the animals, priests also offer items such as ghee, milk, curd, and grains to the deities. In Valmiki's Ramayana, Sita was compelled to prove her chastity and loyalty through the Agni Pariksha, or trial by fire, during which Agni protected her. You might wonder why this specific instance from the Ramayana is referred. In the top right corner of the scene, a man accuses his wife of being unchaste, drawing a parallel to Sita's stay in Ravana's house. In this context, Agni's role in Sita's trial is crucial. It is widely believed that he protected her because he was certain of her pure intentions. And so, he transformed the burning embers into beautiful lotus flowers.
Agni's role as a protector has not been well understood by scholars until recently, when Phyllis Granoff, the professor emerita of South Asian religious studies at Yale University, identified multiple references to Agni as a protector in texts dating as early as the Rig Veda. She also explained why it is that Agni is depicted in human form like a yaksha from the very beginnings of stone sculptural production in India. Here we see Agni's right hand was probably held up in a gesture of protection, communicating Agni's ancient role.
While we don't see a physical manifestation of Agni in this painting, the priests, using the fire, act as the intermediary between the worshipper, which in this case is Rama, and God. Through the Havan, Homa, or fire, the priests recite the mantras or hymns and pour offerings and libations into the fire. A long thread connects Rama and Sita, who is seated in a white enclosure. Near her, an inscription reads, Janaki ji daan kiyo nat pothi rakhi, which implies that Sita is offering or donating to the sacrificial ritual as well. The word nat could be a possible reference to her very visible nose ring. When a woman wears a nose ring, it is symbolic of her receiving the blessings of Parvati in the form of love from her husband. This comes with a touch of irony, as in this case, it could potentially stand as a symbol of Sita's distanced relationship with Rama. The goat and the ram are regarded as the vahanas or vehicles of Agni. Within this context, the goat is specifically seen as an animal of sacrifice. They are sacrificed to appease various gods, but the first goat is always offered in honor of Agni, without which the sacrifice is considered incomplete. Therefore, the goats depicted at the bottom right corner of the painting are sacrifices not just to Agni, but also to other gods such as Vayu and Soma.
Tongues of flame leap up behind his head like a halo, probably in response to the offerings being ladled into the sacred fire by two young Brahmins with shorn heads and looped top knots, just like the young Brahmins behind the senior priests next to the altar in the map painting. The clarified butter, grains, and rich meats being offered probably result in the size of Agni's belly. Below them, two rishis with yogic straps around their knees, emaciated from yogic rigors, are teaching to their devoted acolytes. Below them, two practitioners bend over holding difficult positions in an early form of hot yoga. In the Homa being offered by Rama, we see multiple goats tethered to the sacred precinct. Here we also see a goat behind Agni serving as his vehicle, ready to take him anywhere he needs to go, especially to protect and rule the quadrant of the southeast. On either side of the lower register are anthropomorphic figures with the heads of goats, and in each of their hands they hold an ovoid object intended to represent an embryo. These demonic divinities both prevent and cause miscarriages of pregnancy. And this divinity with flaming hair rising, standing up on end beneath Agni's left hand is also probably a yaksha-like figure in charge of childhood diseases. These demonic divinities answer to Agni. Agni, therefore, was worshipped and asked to control these agents of harm to the unborn.
In the arts, Agni has been depicted in several different ways, ranging from his figural forms to non-figural ones. The Vedic god is typically shown in the personification of a fire, with every ritual starting by offering him thanks. By looking at the sculpture of Agni and the miniature from the Bhagvata Purana in tandem, we uncover the duality of Agni as both a protector and a destroyer, while simultaneously uncovering the types of power and the relationships he shares with his devotees. That's it from us today. Join us next time for another dialogue in a new episode of Museums Without Borders. Check out our channel for more such episodes and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.